everybody. Welcome back to Donna's Dreamworks. Well, today I'm going to start a different project. It'll be a series of a few videos. We'll see how many it takes to get it done. But it's going to be a mini album. And I haven't done a mini album in a little bit of time. I've been busy with my home decor. But I'm not going to change out my patriotic decor until after next week. My son is coming in for a visit, and so I think I'll just leave it for them to see until then, and then after they leave, I will change it out for the rest of the summer. So today I'm going to start on a mini album. This mini album has a little bit different angle, and unfortunately I can't show you a finished one because the last one I made, as soon as I finished it, it left the house. So, but I couldn't show you that today, but I do have a video up and I will link it somewhere. It's either going to be over here, if I can figure out how to do that, or I will also have the link in the description down below here. So either way, you can pick up that link and see that video and see what the finished product looks like. Basically what it is a mini album that is ring bound and it slides in and out of the cover. So it's kind of interesting, and I liked it because I like the way the page is laid nice and flat. So I thought we'd try one together. Now, this is the paper pad I'm planning on using. I picked this up today at Michael's. They had their goodbye paper, or whatever kind of buy they call it, paper pads on sale, 2 for $10. And heaven knows I didn't need another paper pad, but you know, you have to look. The hot buys, I can see. Okay, so this one is called Fashionistas, and it has some really cute papers in it. Let me just flip through some of these for you to start with. This has some of the graphics in here are obviously too large for the size mini album we're making, but they can be used later for something else. This one's a cute page. It's pink. It has a lot of classy and fierce and flam and all this on there with some gold. And I love this one here with the dresses, all the different dresses. And there's a nice cut apart page here. There's 2 of each. Now this is a beautiful thing. Would make a lovely scrapbooking page for like a wedding album, but it's just too big for this album. Some hair, almost like herringbone. These I'll probably just use the dots because she's too large. This is cute. It's all high heels. I don't know if you can see them upright. This I can probably use. I can cut her out. And this purple is pretty. It has like little strings of silver through it. Another cut apart page. This is a pretty page too. There is a really pretty graphics. I just am not sure what I'm going to do with a lot of them. This is cute. Like fashion cover magazines. Fashion magazine covers. And this one is nice too. This one is awfully cute with all the different purses, pocketbooks. And this one is just hearts. Perfume bottles. How cute is that? I can probably use some of these figures down here, and I can also obviously use the top of the paper. And some print. And some high heel shoes. Another pretty girl in a pretty dress. And there you go. So I'm going to try to use some of these papers for this album. And we'll see how we can make out. We won't be cutting into this paper today. We'll get some of the album constructed and we'll get the papers cut. What I would probably do is cut all the papers before we come back the next time, and I'll give you the measurements so that you can cut yours and have them ready to go. Okay, let's get started. To start off with, I'm going to make a cover, and I know you all have seen cover tutorials hundreds of times, but I actually have already made a cover, and I haven't decided which one I'm going to use yet, but I'll just make one with you today to make sure we cover all the bases if somebody has not made an album before. It starts off with 3 pieces of chipboard, and I use a medium weight chipboard. These pieces are cut, 2 of them are cut at 6 1/4 by 4 3/4. 6 1/4 by 4 3/4. Okay. And then the spine piece is cut at 6 1/4 by 1.5 inches. And then I have a piece of black cardstock that I have cut at 6 3/4 by 12. And I'm going to make my pages in black. So we're going to cover the book that way. Now what I need to do is to put these pieces down on this cardstock and attach them to the cardstock like so. Okay. So I have already put some score tape on the back of these. I'm just going to release the backing. I did make score marks about 1/4 inch all the way around this black cardstock. And that just helps me to line up the chipboard and try to keep it straight on the cardstock. And I used 1/2 inch score tape on these. So let's take the first one, and I'm going to sort of position it right in the corner of these 3 score lines. And it's difficult to see. I'm sure you can't see the score lines too well on the video because of it being black. And then now I'm going to put in the spine piece. And I did burnish these, but that piece didn't want to disconnect too easily. Let's try it from the other end. And I usually use double my thickness of chipboard to get the spacing. So I have 2 pieces of chipboard here. I didn't bother to glue them together. I'm just going to hold it up to this one I just put down, okay, while I put the next piece down just to get a measurement. Now I'm using the same score line at the bottom to line it up with the one I just put there. Okay. And once I've got a fairly decent measurement, it doesn't have to be exact, I'm going to attach that up the rest of the way. Okay, last piece. I also got some yellow flowers today when I was at Michael's because their summer flowers are 70% off. So I got a few yellows to take the place of some of the patriotic colors on my centerpiece in the kitchen. But we'll do that another time. I have a string there. Okay. Let's just measure this again. Okay. My fingers are stuck to it. When you think you've got it right, then you can press it down. Okay. Now, because I had scored around here, this should come up fairly easy around it. And really, there's only about 1/4 inch extra. There's a little extra on this side, and I'm not going to bother to even cut it off. But what I am going to do is to miter my corners. And to miter the corners, I come in and I try to leave about the same width as what I have chipboard. And that's just so that I can try to get a clean corner. Okay. Sorry, my cutting mat is sliding all over this other piece here. This is actually my cutting mat underneath here, but it's covered with paper, and so I didn't really want to cut on it today. So now I'm going to take some 1/4 inch and go around the outside. And if it has a little bit of overage, that's all right, because I'm going to be putting an inside piece on here, obviously. So any extra adhesive won't hurt. I'm getting, because there's only about a 1/4 inch clearance here, I'm getting as close as I can to the cardboard. And this one I'll come out to the edge of the paper because it's a little longer. Now I have this handy dandy little, I guess it looks like a scraper. I use it to burnish my vinyl when I'm taking it, before I take it off the mat. But it also is good for burnishing the tape. I think what I'm going to do is just get rid of this cutting mat so we're not sliding all over the place. So I'm going to go down all the way. And I'm going to start with this top piece. Removing the tape, backing from all of the pieces of tape. Maybe. Sometimes they come off so easily, and other times they're really independent. All right. So now I'm just going to pull this piece up and over the top. I try to start in the middle and go both directions. And we'll do the same at the bottom. And then we'll take the two sides, and if you have anything that is sticking out, and what did I do with my bone folder? Here it is. Sorry. You just want to push it in, and you can push it in actually with your finger. Just a little bit, aim it in a little bit. We'll pull this one over. Give it a nice burnishing. And do the same with the other end. Sorry, I'm left-handed, so I'm probably working a little bit backwards for a lot of you. Looks fine to me. I have a little bit of tape hanging over the edge there, so I'm going to have to get that off. But this score tape is not too bad if you get it on the edge. You usually can get it off fairly easy. Yeah, that's fine. As long as it's not up by the corner, it's going to be fine, because there's going to be a piece of paper in there. The same with this one. And I noticed a little piece that I didn't get pushed in. And that's easy enough. We're just going to trim it. Except I've got tape on my scissors now. Okay. All right, so now we have the outside of the cover done, okay? And we're going to do some of the inside. Now the inside is going to use a piece of paper cut at 6 1/4 by 11 1/2. So obviously these are 11 1/2. So let me just get the cutter out. Now it says I'm going to leave it at 11 1/2. I'm going to just measure here and make sure that I'm going to have coverage. And I think even though it says to do 6 1/2 by 11, 6 by 11 1/2, because we didn't have much of an overhang, you need to make sure you're going to be able to cover everything. That looks like it will just about make it. So I think we're all set. Otherwise, you could just simply use a piece of 12 by 12 to do it. So I need to do this one 6 1/4. And I'll put all the measurements for what we've done today down at the bottom. Okay. And then I need a piece of paper that is 8 1/4 by 3 1/2. So let's start with the 3 1/2. Now this is for the pocket that is going to allow us to put our book in and out, the ring binding part in and out. And this was to be 8 1/4. Okay, so these are the two pieces we need for the inside of the book. And we need to put that pocket on before we attach the paper to the inside of the book. So this is the pocket. We're going to score it at 1 inch on both sides. And again, I'm sorry, it's probably a little difficult to visualize exactly what we're doing here. If you haven't seen the other video. So you may want to pop over and look at that. But I think it'll become pretty evident here in a minute. Okay, now this piece here that we've cut for the inside back of the cover is going to go, whoops, what did I do? I cut my piece off the piece that was already there. Not a good move. So let me just cut another one. Let's see if I get the cutter back out without dropping everything else. Okay, 11 1/2 by 6 1/4. So this is 11 1/2 this way, and we'll go 6 1/4 this way. Okay, now we got you. Okay. Now before we attach this piece to the book, okay, we need to add the pocket to it. And the pocket is going to go down here. And then it will attach to the book. And this is where you're going to put your piece of chipboard that is attached to your book that will slide in and out of the cover. So let me get this attached first. We'll put some score tape on this piece on the two end flaps. Chelsea. Oh, Chelsea is coming over to help. How nice. You're really not a lot of help, Chelsea. You need to get off the paper I'm trying to work on. I tell you what, Let me just pause and get rid of Chelsea. I'll be right back. Hi, I'm back. And yeah, as you can see, Chelsea is insisting that she's going to help for a bit. So as long as she doesn't step in the way, we'll be all set. I have put the tape on the both ends where I scored this piece at 1 inch. And now I'm going to take the tape backing off and attach it to the piece of cardstock that we have for the inside cover. Maybe. Actually, I think she's liking the heat of the lamp that I have next to me so that the video has better lighting. Okay, this is our inside cover. I'm going to take this piece right to the end, right by the score line, lining it up, and folding that over. And then we'll take the other one, line it up, and fold it over. Okay, so now you see you have made a pocket that's not closed at the bottom. And that's going to go just like so. So you have the pocket that's not closed at the bottom. Okay? So now we need to attach this to the book. And I will go around it with some score tape. It's important that that pocket is put on before you attach this to the inside of the book. Okay. And I am going to just use a little wet glue in the middle here, if it's going to work for me. I haven't used it in a little bit, just to keep it from buckling, and it's not going to work for me. Got a piece. I have a little piece of glue over the end of it. This is the Art Glitter Glue, and it is excellent glue. I've actually made whole books with just this and no score tape. Now let's just see if we can do it without the metal tip for now. Okay. No. Oh, Chelsea. Oh dear. Okay, here we are. I did go ahead and attach this to the book because I had to deal with Miss Chelsea, but she won't bother us anymore. And so what I've done is I just attached that inside piece, and this is the end over here that has the pocket, and the pocket is not closed, okay? And then I've just gently folded these sides up so that we have a finished cover. And I like to just kind of go along the edge here, give it a nice smooth edge. And I go along the edge here. It just kind of gives it a finished look. So this makes a very nice cover, okay? Now, I will tell you and show you what I meant when I said I'm not sure whether I'm going to use this or not. Because I did make another one. And this one is actually made of cloth. And I had tried it out and I really liked the way it came out. This is, it's got some padding on the inside, and then it has the cloth, okay? And on the inside here, it's the same exact thing, and you can actually probably see it better than you can see this one. It has the pocket right here that is covered. A little bit challenging in that you have to do these things kind of separately, because this is actually more chipboard on the inside that you have to cover first and then attach the whole piece down. And this is chipboard inside that you have to cover first and attach the whole piece down. And you can't use cardstock for this pocket because it's not heavy enough to hold the weight of the material. So I did use chipboard, but this chipboard I used was just like a cereal box. So it's really, you can actually probably could use cardstock if you just doubled it up. So this is the one that I have here. I need to do something with these two seams here because again I had to put a separate piece in the middle. And if you're doing something like this, great thing to use is that fabric glue, and it works very well. I see a little piece here I need to reglue. Okay, so I'm not sure when we get to the point of actually, and you know, with this book, you actually can use either one because you can take it out and put it in this cover or take it out and put it in this cover. This cover appears to be a little larger, and that is only because of the padding that it takes to go around it. The pieces, the original pieces of chipboard were cut the same. So, all right, let's move on to the page construction. The page construction, I'm going to put 5 pages in, and each page uses one piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. So we'll get the measurements for the pages. You can get those all cut, and I think that's probably going to take us through this video. Okay, the pages are cut 6 by 11. So using the full length of the 8.5 by 11, I'm just trimming them down to 6 inches. Okay, and you want to save this piece. It's used on the other side of the page. And the last one is 6 by 11. Okay. Now each page is going to be scored, and it's going to be scored on the long side, putting the long side in the scoreboard, you're going to score it 1/4 inch, 4 1/4, and 8 1/4. Okay, and you need to do that with all of the pieces. 1/4, 4 1/4, 8 1/4. One quarter, 4 1/4. Whoops, that didn't go very straight. 4 1/4 and 8 1/4. One quarter, and I'm doing it right along with you. So if I screw up, you'll see the screw up. 4 1/4 and 8 1/4. One quarter, 4 1/4, and 8 1/4. What you actually have done is made a 4-inch pocket here. Okay. And I think we have one more. 1/4, 4 1/4, and 8 1/4. Okay. Now the 1/4 inch, we want to fold it. Fold it over, burnish it. Okay. And then that's going to have a piece of score tape attached to it. 1/4 inch. Or you can just glue. And then this is going to be folded at the 4 1/4 and burnish. And it will meet the 8 1/4. Okay. And leave this little piece here at the end. So I'm going to take the tape off, the tape covering off. Yeah. Okay. And I am just going to push this down because it's over the edge a little and we don't want any of the tape over the edge. So you want to make sure. Then you're just going to fold it down. And I did make a mistake already, but I can fix it because you want to put some tape along the bottom here too, because that's going to make a pocket. But what I will do is just to add some of my glue, which I finally got working. And actually, I prefer this. In fact, it's what I will do. I don't like putting tape anywhere that I am creating a pocket, because anytime I put something in there, it could possibly get stuck on some of the stickiness of the tape, where once your wet glue dries, it's dry and it won't hamper anything. Okay, so now we have created a top pocket, okay, in our book. Now this other piece, we're going to just fold up. And that has created our flap. And I want to fold it as straight as I can. That seemed to be just the tiniest bit crooked. See if we can burnish it down. There we go. Okay. Now, what we're going to do with this piece here is we're going to create a file folder edge using the punch board. And it's very easy to do if you have a punch board. If you don't have a punch board, you don't have to make a file folder edge. You can just make any kind of an edge you want, maybe with a punch, or even putting some kind of just decoration along the edge. It doesn't have to be this at all. But we're going to use this because we have it. And I'm going to start at the putting this in with my edge over here at the 3-inch mark and punch. Okay. Now I can go to either end, this end or this end. But what I'm going to do is to take the very edge of this paper and line it up in the very middle of the punch. And you can see the middle hole in here. Right in here. Okay. I'm lining it right up in the middle of that. Okay. So I take that last edge and I line it up in the very middle of that and punch. And what that does is give us a little tab edge there. Okay. but it still has this piece on it over here, so we need to get rid of this piece. And so I'm going to use the cutter. You can use your scissors, and actually scissors are probably easier. Let me try it. I'm going to keep this one because that's where I made the final one, and I'm just going to cut this one right up to that edge. There you go, and get rid of it. So now you can see I have a file folder edge. And let me see if I can just take some white paper here and put that on it, and you can see. Okay. Now we're going to do that with each one of these pages. And I'll do one more with you, and I think then we'll call it a day, and you can do yours. We'll come back and finish the other side of the page and start cutting some of our tags. Okay, so here we are. I'll move this out of the way. We have the 1/4 inch score mark. We're going to bring it up, burnish it. Now, if it's easier for you to work on this edge now, you can do it. You don't have to wait till it's folded. It doesn't really interfere with it, but that's up to you. I'm going to put a piece of tape along here. I'm going to fold this up, burnish it. And I want to make sure that is folding straight before I get the tape off. And it didn't seem to be quite okay. So now I'll remove this tape backing, making sure that I have nothing hanging over, and I'm going to line it up at the top and stick it down. There we go. Then we're going to fold this piece up and create our flap and burnish it. Okay, now we'll do the punch board one more time. Now this first one, we have our tab here on this side. Here, okay? So this one, I'm going to make the tab same way, but on the other side. So I'm going to start with putting my paper in at 3 inches, punch, and I'll move it to the other end this time, punch again, and now I have this shape. I'm going to take my scissors, and I'll do the trimmer this time, just so you can see that. And put it in the trimmer, and I just kind of line it up so that it's going to cut off just the bottom of this side, like that. And then you can see we have the file tab, and this tab is on this side. So we have 2 pages. The first page, the tab is on this side. Second page, the tab is on this side. And we'll just go back and forth with them that way for the rest of the pages. So I'm going to finish doing the rest of my pages, and then I'm going to be cutting, tomorrow when we get back, I'm going to cut the mats for the inside of these pockets, and I'm also going to show you how to finish the back of these pockets. And then we'll move on to some of the decorating, because that's all there is to making these pages. So I'll see you again tomorrow, and we'll continue with this, hopefully without the additional help of Chelsea. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll check in again tomorrow. Bye-bye.